Okay, so let's get into this game. Another loss, so I'm not super excited, but like I've been saying, the preseason wins don't mean shit. So at least we got that going for us, right? At least they're consistent. I'm kidding. All right, so Lakers 112 to 107. I was really excited to talk about the first win, even though I know I have been saying that preseason wins don't mean shit. But still, I think it would be nice to have a win. But actually, I'm thinking this. I'm thinking in my fucked up basketball brain, I think it's better that they get the losses out of the way now. Because, I don't know, let me know if you guys agree with me on this. But as somebody who watches a lot of basketball, right, when it's time for the playoffs, I want my team to lose like a game or two before the playoffs, unless they're like fighting for the seeds, for seeding. Because I always feel like when your team loses, especially if it's an embarrassing loss, they're going to come out harder the next game, you know? So I'm thinking, I'm just trying to be optimistic here. I'm thinking you get your ass beat. Well, not your ass beat, but you get your ass beat 3 times in the preseason by teams you're probably going to see in the playoffs, or, you know, at least that caliber team. It's going to make you play a little bit harder. And I think that now they have a good chance of coming into the season even stronger and even more pissed off. And I think that's definitely a positive thing. Another positive, DeAndre Ayton had a comeback game, so that's nice. 21 points, 9 boards, 1 assist. It's a lot better than 4 points, so that's definitely a plus. But it's not like I was expecting him to fucking average 4 points throughout the season, but you guys get what I'm saying. Now, the game was, I believe it was tied or it was close in the second half, which is when LeBron and AD didn't play. Actually, I think they were losing, but the Suns got a lead later on. Doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying. Because if the Suns did win, it wouldn't have really meant much anyway, because LeBron and AD only played in the first half, so who really cares? But I've noticed a couple things throughout these 3 preseason games. Things are getting better defensively for sure, especially around the perimeter. The offense is getting better, although they did have a lot of turnovers today. I think that was honestly probably the biggest thing. I mean, they only shot 40% from the field, the Suns, and 31% from 3. The Lakers shot 48% from the field and 40% from 3. That doesn't help. Suns had 17 turnovers. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm hoping throughout the season they'll get that down to like 10, 12 maybe. 12 is still kind of high. If we can get it around like 10, that'd be ideal. And yeah, so this is what I think the big problem has been. The bench, when the bench is in, like all 5 guys, they need a facilitator. They look lost on offense. I think Javon is better. I think Javon, Langston, and Etuan are all better off the ball. Like I was saying in the last video, they don't really have like that quote-unquote point guard like a Chris Paul, like somebody who's just gonna facilitate, like a Rondo, even like a fucking Darren Collison. They don't really have that. They have like short guys who are like 3 and Ds. That's basically what they have, or like spot up shooters. So yeah, I think that is an issue. I don't know. Hopefully, if they can make some sort of trade, or because they could just kind of do like what the Rockets did in like 2018. 2019 is just switch off between Devin Booker and Chris Paul. But I'm thinking long term, and I think it's best if those two will be able to rest as much as possible. I think it's better if Chris Paul and Devin Booker play together, and then they just have a solid guy who can come off the bench, and that way they can get some rest. Especially Chris Paul, because he's old as hell. And I think that's the only real roster concern I have. They have a billion fucking forwards. like I was saying earlier, the interior defense could be a little bit better. They don't have like that DeAndre Jordan type shot blocker, so that's another thing that they could work on. But I haven't really seen it being a huge problem yet. So I think that point guard coming off the bench is a little bit more important right now, just in my humble opinion. Damn, the Lakers went 3-0 in the fucking preseason. Huh? They're not gonna win a championship this year, so who cares? Yeah, let's see. All the other stats, I mean, they did have more assists, the Suns, but like I said in my other video, who gives a shit about that? Yeah, so their field goal, I think that's why the field goal percentage was so low, because when Chris Paul and Devin were both on the floor, like I was saying, like, they just looked lost. They could not score. I feel like they didn't score for like 8 damn minutes in the fourth quarter. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because they had a big lead and it just kept dwindling until it was too late. And I was like, fuck, here we go. But I think overall the Suns look really good. And I know that might be kind of crazy to say because they haven't won a game yet. In the first two, they lost by like 20 points. And in this one, they lost to a team without their 2 best players. But like I've been saying, they've been playing around with the lineups a lot. Like Jay Crawford started at the 4 today, and he looked great. I think he made his first 3 threes. He looked really good defensively. He looked like really good out there, so that's a positive. Cameron Johnson still hasn't played. Bridges, he looked a little rough in the beginning, but he came along a little bit later. But it looked like when LeBron was on him, like playing defense on him, he couldn't, even if he wasn't taking the shot, even though, you know, like when you're semi-guarded but you can still like take the shot, he wasn't taking those. He was just passing those up, and I think he should be taking those. Don't let fucking LeBron sun you off your fucking threes. Don't do that. But yeah, this game was a bittersweet because I did want them to win, but I think a loss is better overall. And I know that sounds weird, but I have a weird brain when it comes to basketball. I'm oddly optimistic and pessimistic at the same time. So my biggest takeaway from this whole preseason thing is that overall, I think the Suns are going to be a very, very, very good team. I still mean what I said when I said that I think they can win a championship this year. I am a little bit concerned about the bench. I know it's again, another thing is it's all new. Everybody's new basically except for fucking Javon. So that's another thing to worry about, but still they don't really have that guy who they don't have like a Schroeder. Like, oh my, if Schroeder came off the bench, that would be literally perfect. They don't have a guy who can just kind of create for himself and just score when he wants. And I feel like every bench needs a guy like that. So I don't know, like, again, if they could make some sort of signing or trade or some shit, I think that would be ideal. I mean, the best solution to that, I think, is just to have Devin or Chris on at all times, which I don't think is ideal. I mean, you can, but I think it would be better if you could find a guy to just eat up those minutes and let them rest. So, but I'm not a GM. So I guess we will see what the GM does throughout the season or before the deadline. And yeah, I think Suns fans should still be very optimistic. These games showed a lot of growth, showed a lot of positive things if you're looking out for them. And again, I know they didn't win a game, but it doesn't really matter. Because if they needed to win this game, they would have won this game. So that's what really matters. I mean, if LeBron and AD played, I don't know, it would have been a little dicier. But if this was a real game, they would have had a good shot. And they looked great in the first quarter. They came out really, really strong. So that's another thing. That's another positive. What else is there to talk about? Talon Horton Tucker, look, he's fucking good, dude. He is good, and I think he's gonna get a lot of minutes throughout the season, and he deserves them. Shout out to him. He had 18 points and he only had 2 assists. I feel like he had more than that. Maybe they were just loud assists. and 5 boards. He's fucking 6'4" point guard. He's like 230 or some shit. I'm like, god damn. Marcus Gasol, old as hell. 3 points, 8 boards. Kyle Kuzma had 23 points. Fuck. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be positive here. I'm really excited for the first game against the Mavs. I think that's going to be. It's hard to say that it's gonna be it's gonna say a lot because, again, like I've been saying, this team is gonna have to grow throughout the season. Like they're not gonna be a finished product for a while. So even that first game, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I think we'll really know like 3/4 of the way through the season. Hopefully they'll be healthy, and then we'll really know how good this team can be. So until then, I think we just got to be patient. Obviously we're going to speculate because that's what the NBA is all about. That's what makes it fun. But I think if you're depressed and you think the championship hopes are over, you got to calm down a little bit. Realize that they got a lot of new fucking people. There was still a lot of positives that I saw. So hopefully this eases your sorrow if you had any. I think that's it. I wanted this video to be shorter, but I ramble like an old man. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And that's it. Peace.